episode of the NJ Show. I hope everybody's doing good. How is everybody doing today? Throw up a comment. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how your week's going. Are you winning? Are you winning in this market? It'll be good to know if you're winning in this market. Drop me a comment. Let me know if you're winning in this market. In fact, you know what? Real question I've got to ask is, are we actually live? We are live. There we go. We're live. We're live. Camera's really in my face right now. Let me move this back a little bit. I can't even move this that much back. All right, cool. But anyway, look, we've got TraderSZ on today. Really excited. Really excited. There's so many questions I want to ask him because, you know, I've come to the conclusion that pretty much everybody's an expert now. The amount of clout seekers I'm seeing on Twitter, unrealistic, unbelievable, unrealistic. Even bull market was not as bad as this. Everybody's an expert. So I want to understand, you know, some people are saying, oh, bull market is back and, you know, you're an idiot if you're not getting involved. Other people are saying it's a bear market rally. Other people they don't have a clue what's going on, so they change bias every 2 minutes. I really don't know how you guys feel. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments, but it's good to have SC on today because I want to zoom out on the chart and I want to try and actually break down what's happening, what we think is happening. Do we have any comparisons from maybe 2018, 2019 that we can look at to help us really trade this market? All right. Reason I say that is because if we have a plan as to what we're going to do throughout the rest of the year, we can start executing that plan. We can start making plans within those plans to actually help us make money. Because look, end of the day, everyone wants to make money. You want to make money. I want to make money. I want you to make money. Hopefully you want me to make money too. So let's bring SC on. Let's say hello to him. Let's take up some of his time, which he's kindly given to all of us for free. So smash a like, show him some love, leave a comment in the chat to let him know that you appreciate his time. And without further ado, yo, my bro, how are you?
Yo, what you say, my youth?
Yeah, it's good to see you, fam. It's good. Nice, crisp voice that you got there, G.
Exactly, bro. Thanks to you, man. That
Yeah.
mic, man. Everybody's liking the mic.
Yeah, nice crisp voice. It's like I've got the same one right here, bro, but yours is sounding crisp. Yours is sounding crisp. We got a lot of people in the chat right now as well. Everybody showing some love to SC as well. We got Josh in the chat. We got Crypto.
Everyone like the video. Like the video.
Appreciate it. Very much appreciate it. And subscribe to the channel too. We
Yeah,
are on a very slow journey to 6,000 subscribers, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Joshonomics is in the chat. Make him mod, fam. I like him. Make Joshonomics mod.
All right,
He's one of my guys.
Joshonomics. Big shout out to Joshonomics, who you just became a mod. How do I make him a mod? One sec. I think I have to. I think I've got to do it from here. I think I can do it from here.
No, you just overclick his name, the 3 dots.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't let me from here. I have to go into the studio.
Oh, minor, we can do after.
No, it's done. It's done. Managing moderator. There we go. I thought it said managing director. I thought it was a company or something. All right, bless. All right, well, look, it's good to have everybody here, and it's really good to have you on the show, SC. You've been on the show a couple of times, and a couple of times, you know, we've spoken about markets from a macro perspective. But I'd really like to ask you again, you know, if it's okay, I want to share your screen and. So what we've got here, everyone, is a fresh chart of Bitcoin. And what I wanted to do was I wanted us to zoom out completely. I know for those of you who watched Bitcoin for Ledgers yesterday, you would have seen it yesterday and you would have seen what the intraday plans are, intra-week plans. But I want to zoom out a bit more and I want to try and identify where we actually are in this market. Oh, is this the bull market? Is the market back? Or are we going through a longer period of consolidation which leads to a macro bottom? So SC, you know, just from looking at this from a higher time frame, would you off the bat call this a bear market rally, or would you call this the start of another bull market?
Looking at traditional markets and global macro, I would say we're not done yet. But that does not mean we miss out either. So basically, I don't know. I'm leaning more towards we go lower. But I will still trade the range we're in. And if it breaks out, like I said before, I mean, just a simplified version before, I mean, just say this is our range. If it breaks out, I'll play it to the next level. Here and here. If it breaks down, I'll play it towards there. If it breaks down, I'll play it towards there. So restricting ourselves to, is it a bear market, bull market? You don't need to really. But if you're going to answer it in a simplified way, no, I don't think it's done. I think we go lower. Equities and looking at interest rates and everything, they suggest otherwise. So
I agree.
Proven wrong? No, I think no, but that doesn't really matter though, is it? I mean, when we're trading, does it really matter?
No, not when you're playing level to level. But do you know what it is, right? When it comes
to even
to our
that
community,
level, I mean, this is like a decent swing we played previously.
Yeah,
So
you were long in it when nobody else was. I remember that because I'm in your class. But the main thing is that a lot of people that follow our content and follow your content, yeah, they're following it to learn how to trade and stuff level to level. But a lot of people, what they're doing is they're following your content, but with the mindset of an investor. So for investors, and you know what, even when I was in 2017, I came into crypto with a mindset of an investor. It was only in 2018 when I started sitting down with you, I started realizing how bullshit my analogies were and whatnot. Now, if you're looking at it from the mindset of an investor, obviously this is quite difficult to trade. It's not very easy to make money from this market unless you've put the hours and hours of work in. Um, so what they're looking for is they want to know where the macro bottom could be. So look, going back to what you just said about whether you think it's going to go lower or not, what are the levels that you could identify for us that somebody could just quickly draw on their charts to say, oh well, this is how low it could go. The reason it could go to maybe 12k is because of this level. Reason it could go to 8k
okay,
because of this.
that's not a problem. So what we do is basically we go to the original stream, and I did this with you before because we were still in the range. Is basically what's capping the downside, and I'm gonna say it's gonna be this level here. The significance of this level, I've done it many times before, but we'll do it fresh for you guys. So if we look right that level there, and if I was to go to, I'd say to the left here, all the way back, we're gonna go back to this region here. And what was the a range high, range low back here? And has it proven itself? So if I was to draw this, when we run up first, right, this is what we could see. A lot would say that's a blow off top ish. Such a run up, big down move. But then, if I'll give this a different color, let's make it yellow. So now notice this area. This area was resistance, resistance, deviation, resistance there. Close enough here, good enough. And if we drag it to the right, we watch if it's been respected again. So if you drag it all the way to the as you can see, so that was the lowest point made. Support, support, deviation, once reclaimed, support. Now these levels were what caused me, along with the other stuff as well, for the bottom. So if this was a deviation area before, this is where I look for long play towards there, get out. I didn't look for shorts here because I said shorts would be clean break below here. And once reclaimed here, where was the initial stop run for the first bear market rally? First phase of it was here. The ultimate range high is obviously with these highs here, but that was the range high. That was the extreme point. Now we've taken them out. Now, does it go higher? Who knows? So just like this for me is a deviation area, this for me is a deviation area. If it confirms, I got in a bit early based on I'm leaning lower due to what I'm seeing on ES and dollar index and globally. But still, until this proves otherwise, this is just another run up like this. So for now, I'll be playing it like this. If this level gets smashed 16 to 20, clean break below that, then that opens the doors for, well, if we look at it, I would say around this area, let's go for minimal areas. I'd say this high here, right? Why this high here? Well, actually, let's do the same concepts. Let's be consistent. When it rallied, when it made a new low, range high, range resistance, deviation, retest, resistance. So that's the next range then. So possibly, if I was looking for bottom, I would look for where the equities bottom out. Okay. So a possible scenario could be it comes in towards here, right? If it was to deviate, that for me is more of a macro level. Why? Because this was the consolidation, accumulation phase before the big rally up. This would be the retest of it, right? And if it reclaims, I would say that is possibly a bottom in. Now, whether it's for a new high or whether it's for a significant rally up towards here, who knows? I would probably go towards here. Now, an example of this is everyday price action. Everyday price action is like this, isn't it? Consolidation, we get the rally out, then the retest, then usually if it's going to be bull market, it's probably going to make a new high. If it's going to be a range bound market, that same it's going to retest, they go lower. But regardless, we trade this phase. This phase, whether it happens or not, it doesn't matter. There. Now let's clean this chart up, and you tell me: is there any difference apart from the time scale, apart from emotions? Would this not be the same thing? Consolidation. could be like a retest of the consolidation, reclaim the range low, possibly towards there. Does that make sense? Or there? Makes no difference. After that alone would give you a massive alt rally. That's
Agreed.
what main money's made with the
Agreed.
alts.
I agree. And you've made it look, we've got a really good comment here from Mr. AK. He says, you always make it look so simple. Now, this is the thing. So you've marked out this consolidation, and this is the kind of point that I've been trying to get across to people. You've got to ask yourself before looking at the chart, what does a macro bottom actually look like? You don't usually get V-type reversals on the weekly or the daily or the monthly. Like, you can never really guess when they're going to come. And if you did, it would be a gamble, right? You can never predict a V-shaped reversal. But what you've pointed out there, it gives us enough time. We've had that 80% retracement, 85%. We've consolidated at the right resistance levels. We've tapped into that accumulation that we had previously before we got sent up initially, and that would give us more of a confluencing factor. The weird thing is, right, a lot of people are saying that this is the bottom, and a lot of people are saying that we're going to be going up only from here. But what could we take from this chart here that could give us any indication as to why we'd only be going up from here? This doesn't look like a macro bottom to me, but at the same time, I don't want to just stick to my own bias. I'd like to see what other people are saying too. Why would people think that this is the complete low?
Okay, well, delusion. That's all. Full stop.
Deep.
Ignoring the bigger picture concept, or if you know something that others don't know. Now, one of something different can happen. So what would I say constitutes that? So if this was to happen and prove to me this was a deviation, right? So let's go back and say that was the original range, right? And with that, the midpoint, if you're going to eyeball it, I'd say around here. Are we in agreement? So we call this range high, range low, mid range. What's the range? This is the range. This is the range really that was set. So then this could easily do this as well, and then drop as well, by the way, until we clear this consolidation and this level. Okay, then I would say, so if we clear that, made a big clearance above, reclaimed, that then becomes a deviation. I would say we probably put a push towards there, maybe target 1 here, target 2 there, a clear reclaim and hold above that, target 1 here, which is more or less the midpoint, even though my lines are wonky, and target 2 there. But till then, I mean, I could even push towards there and that'd be still valid. But I mean, if equities are starting to turn, and this is the minimum area for me to look for my short, I'm happy to take a long if it proves me wrong. And that's about around 26k area. We can go over that later and show my position. But I'll only play it towards there because I know that's resistance. And then if it was to then come off there, I'd take my profit. Then if it deviated, boom, that's a deviation done. And then we come back towards range lows at least. Does that make
100%.
sense so far?
Yeah, 100%.
So
That
for
looks
now,
fantastic.
unless we reclaim this, I wouldn't get too horny.
Yeah, agreed, and very well said. I hope everybody's benefiting from this and everybody is marking this out on their charts as well. It will help you in your. I know a lot of you guys are investors, right? So it will help you in your. I know a lot of you guys want to long altcoins. Basically, is what I'm saying, and because you guys want to long altcoins and you want to play alts, it's good to have this macro version of Bitcoin, so you understand if price does this, this is what we're expecting. If price does that, for instance, what SC just said over there, if we do, say for instance, push above that key resistance level there at 28k and we start breaking out to the upside, then what you'd be looking for is you can then divert your attention to alts. You can start looking, alts will have more of a risk on perspective. But I see another question I've got for you, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna have loads today.
Yeah, carry on.
Just for the fans here, for the people, the followers, the lovely people that make this show possible. Right now we've got this situation right now where ES is breaking down and Bitcoin's lagging a little bit behind it, in my opinion. Right now, usually what we get is we get that correlation. That correlation is in place, whether it's Bitcoin and the dollar or it's Bitcoin and the S&P, and you kind of can use those traditional markets to help push your trade, but the bias of your trade. But right now, given that we've got the S&P moving a lot faster than Bitcoin is, are we expecting a snapback where Bitcoin will catch
No,
up to
I mean, I think people are overthinking it. No, see, the nature of Bitcoin is when the market's range bound. So if we pull up a fresh ES chart, ES is just range bound. So often when markets are range bound, then they don't have to be completely in sync. Like for example, so when the dollar index is range bound like this, not doing much. Sometimes the Aussie dollar is strong. Sometimes they do their own thing at times. But once the dollar starts trending, then they all snap back into shape. So when the ES is in a range and ES is within a range, and this is the range, nobody can say otherwise. We're still range bound on ES. They can do their own thing. Now, with the nature of Bitcoin, Bitcoin being Bitcoin, they both have key resistance. This is already coming off the range highs. I think this is going to go towards here next, and then here, unless it reclaims this level. Um, the Bitcoin being Bitcoin will do the move usually in one swipe. So it may go a bit slower, but when it moves, it'll do it in one go, and that's it. And then the talk of decoupling will go. This is nothing new. This is the same thing. So that's the nature of Bitcoin. You have to accept that, and whoever's not accepting it is just lying to themselves, really.
Agreed. And that brings me on to my next part as well. Now I know for some of you guys who are watching this right now, you probably tuned in to try and see what the next 15-minute time frame setup is. Now, you can watch Bitcoin for Leisures on TraderSZ's channel to which he did yesterday. You'd be able to see, what the plans are going forward for Bitcoin there. But, you know, going back to something that XO said very recently, and I know that you're SC, whether or not you're the same person, we're still trying to identify. But EXO said something recently where he said, when you start understanding markets, you'll understand that it's all one big trade. And that's kind of why I asked you about that correlation. So, I do agree with EXO when he says it kind of all is one big trade in a way. So,
Mm-hmm.
if we're going to be talking about, Bitcoin being a bottom, or maybe Bitcoin wants to go lower, or maybe Bitcoin hasn't formed a bottom yet, what would we need to see, for instance, on the dollar, or what would we need to see on the S&P, or is there any other pairs that we could give these guys today to say, look, when you're looking at this, when you're studying this, if you're looking at Bitcoin, you're looking at altcoins, which is predominantly what people will do here. What should they be looking at? Should it be the dollar, the S&P, Bitcoin?
All,
Is it
all of them. So where I'm explaining, I'm looking at when I do Bitcoin for ledgers, I may look at the main ones. I look at bonds and stuff, but that a lot of people goes over their heads, so I don't talk about it. But ES, dollar, and Bitcoin. If you're gonna look at that, those two are the basics. What you really need, really. I mean, nobody's a long-term macro investor. Okay, if just because you held an altcoin for a couple of weeks, months, and even then you didn't hold it properly, and if you did hold it, it's probably like $10 worth of Bitcoin. The fact remains, you're not an investor. Nobody's here as an investor. Otherwise, you're just deluding yourself. I mean, you got one little downtick in Bitcoin, and you go from investor to day trader. Just
agreed?
realistic. Yeah. So let's not talk about investors because nobody here is an investor, and even altcoin cycles the last couple of weeks, you're not investing. It is holding for a couple of weeks. It's a swing trade. But with this also, one thing I like to do is after looking at Bitcoin, ES, and dollar, I look at some alts as well. F is one. I like to look at stuff like Litecoin. You can take whatever you want, but they're all ones that come into major. The ones that are major and are very liquid and high
That's a great
volume.
point. That's a really great point
This
that you
is
made. So for everybody in the chat right now, just what Essie's saying, because I know Essie's he does this day in day out. So if you're new to this, then you might not fully grasp what he's saying. So when he's talking about Ethereum and Litecoin, those are in the top 10, right? They have the most liquidity in the market, other than Bitcoin itself, where you'll see most of the trading being done. Now, Litecoin has been known in the past to actually lead the market. Sometimes Litecoin sometimes can give you the hint as to what Bitcoin wants to do. So a lot of people, what they like to do is they like to take their longs or shorts, and they like to hedge using Litecoin, because Litecoin moves a little bit slower. It's more effective in terms of the price action that it gives. And SC, take it away. Take it away.
so basically. So then I'm looking for. So if say I've got a thesis right to short Bitcoin, and I am short Bitcoin. This is my position. And I'm wrong above here. And if it goes above here, I will be switching. What my position is already in the Bitcoin for Legends. So I will repeat that as to where I'm going to flip long, cut my shorts. So this is just one on its own. Then I've talked about dollar index. Let's quickly look at dollar index. That's pushing up. As long as we stay above January's mid range, I would think we're pushing up towards here. That's one. That's another factor of confluence. I'm looking at ES. We've broken down within the smaller range, but I've identified the bigger range, I believe. something like this possibly. Your mom. 1 second. Towards here, and that's just a range play. Okay, then we move on and look at the VIX. The VIX is suggesting higher. I do TA and VIX. Fuck everybody else. It's going towards there probably next. As long as we don't make a clean break below here, maybe they'll flip this, but towards there next. So VIX is suggesting higher prices. Then we move on. I then look at the major cryptos. So I look at Litecoin. So is it just Bitcoin giving me the trigger, and everything else looks like it's going higher? Because if everything else looks like it could squeeze higher, then Bitcoin could go to the extreme end of 28K-ish area. So if I'm looking at this on its own merit suggests to me macro resistance. Is that not macro resistance?
Agreed.
If you want
Agreed.
confirmation, okay, wait for your breakdown or whatever, and that will just be a play back in towards the range. And then by then we'll see where Bitcoin's at key support, or does it come all the way back here? Because this for now is, if this was the SR level, you'd be saying yes, still in a downtrend like this. But
Mm.
you're emotionally invested into whatever shitcoin you are, you're going to treat it differently. But really, it's a retest of macro support. If this reclaims, okay, happy days. We'll go long, we'll look towards there. And then the next level. That's one. We'll do Matic as well. The reason why is because I've drawn up some macro charts for this levels. If I look at Matic, same exact thing. That's another factor of confluence. Another one of the it's highly respectable pair to trade. It's that macro resistance area. It's not perfect, but it's that resistance area, isn't it? It's retesting previous macro solid support, become resistance. If I want to fine tune it with my range levels, I've taken 2022 high, 2022 low, 22 mid range. Look at that, deviated already. That
Oh,
is,
perfect. Perfect.
and if it flips above, fine. I'll cut my short. I'll take a loss. I'll long it. Target one, target two, done.
Amazing. Amazing. Do you know what, bro? I've got 2, 3 questions just off the back of that. But the
Swing
first question
trading.
is,
1 second, bro.
yeah,
Swing
no
trade.
worries.
Somebody says swing trading is for rich people. No, it's fucking not. It's for people that know how to trade. If you can't trade, don't say swing trading is for rich people. Move. Carry on now.
Agreed. Agreed. Guys, look, listen, and girls and everything in between. Look, listen, get your comments in. Try and keep them positive. Remember that SC's taken time out of his day. He's a very busy person and he's doing this not just for me, but for you guys as well. This is for free. No one's getting paid for this. So make sure you keep the comments coming in. Make sure you're keeping it positive. It's good to see that we've got nearly 550 people here. So smash up the like, get the likes to 300 if you can. Everybody needs to do their part. And make sure you leave a comment too. Let SC know that you're appreciating his work because I certainly am. Bro, going back to your Matic chart was amazing. How if I wanted to help someone learn ranges, right? I know that you've got a lot of courses on your
What is it
website and
courses?
stuff.
It's just reviews, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
reviews, but I mean they've helped so many people, bro. We can't disagree that they don't help you. They help people like crazy. Now, one thing that people are going to get confused of, yeah, is you've got the 2022 range marked out, and other people might look for different ranges. How did you come to the conclusion of the 2022
So
range?
what I do is I draw different ranges, and then I
Okay,
look at. I won't just draw one. I'll draw many different ranges. I look at a monthly chart, and I'll say, okay, is this monthly range giving me something to work with? Not really, but I can do smaller time frame ranges. Is the weekly, is the quarterly, is the yearly, and I'll draw them all out. Whichever one price is respecting the most, I'll go with that.
okay. So there's everyone's
You have to
answer
do the
there.
work
You can't.
behind it.
Yes, yes. There is your answer, everyone. Look, I wanted to make sure that this stream would benefit you guys in a way that you can actually go back, watch it again, help you understand how to benefit your trading. And I think we've got that in this stream. Now, I know it's
What
been
I
fast
also
paced.
do, I start off with a clean chart first. So if I identify this clean chart, what is the real market cap in the market? This high here, this low there, and where we're coming off of is more or less. If I was to draw a fib from that high to that low, near enough. It doesn't have to be exact, but in the zone of the mid area. Okay, it's just mid area zone. That's enough for me to suggest that it's a turning point. And then I look at has price proved it's a turning point? Wicks. That's a big down move at some point. That's a big move. So we're at a mid inflection point here. And the fine tuning came in from the mid range. The fine tuning came in from natural SR. Like this is a natural SR level. And that's how you fine tune it. And then you look for a range levels around that. With macro, so this could be like a macro one. I could do the same on a weekly. for day trading, and I could say, well, let me take last week's range. If I was to take last week's range, please Telegram set us, bro. Block that guy, AI. Please Telegram, because probably some idiot from Mumbai.
It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate.
Fucking idiots.
We're doing a rain. We're doing a stream for everybody's
So
benefit,
if
and
I
then we
do
get
this,
people.
okay, let's get a clean chart out for this. I'm just got no patience for idiots. That's all.
No, I agree. I agree.
Just got no
I'm in
patience,
agreement
bro.
with you.
Just fucking waste months, bro. So we got this here. So what I do is for day traders out there, what you can do is I look at last week's range. So if I look at short-term trading and a short-term range, this could be used as refinement for a high time frame trigger. If it's at a swing level, if it's at a swing area, then there's no reason why that can't be a trigger for a possible. You can play day trade level to level, which could evolve into something bigger. Now, if I look at this carefully, the beauty of this is I've got a good area to actually take some profits. For my short-term trade, I took some profits today on Matic to reload. But that's just, I leave my swings in, and then I have short-term strategies where I get in and out, in and out. 135.23. So if I look at this is the alpha your paid group is going to learn now. Is going to teach you guys. But if I look at it, last week's mid-range is there. Now, if I want to look for shorts, I could either do one of these sort of concepts where if it's going to be a deeper pullback scenario, okay, something like, I don't know, rally up into resistance, deviate level to level back into more mid-range, or do its thing. If it breaks below mid-range, boom. That not only is that a break of natural SR, it's break of last week's midpoint. That's now a deviation. There's my trigger point. Let's fucking go towards there. Maybe target 1 here, target 2 there. That alone is a separate trade. Ready for me if I don't get the pullback I want, or if I want confirmation and I got out here, because this is still key support. Okay. Macro wise says to me lower down, but regardless, if I want to avoid all of that, I'll wait for the clean break below. Then that's below SR, deviate, resistance, let's go. Done.
Well said. Well said. Amazing. Amazing. So look, everybody in the chat right now. Yep, I can see comments coming in already. Get your comments coming in and let us know if you're benefiting from this stream, because I certainly am. It's always good to watch these kind of videos to refresh your perspective on ranges and trading. And why is my camera doing that? I don't know. I'm blurring out. All right. Anyway, SC, look, thank you so much for that, bro. Thank you so much for that. So today we've covered Bitcoin, we've covered Ethereum, we've covered the ES, we've covered the dollar and how they're all in sync. We've covered the concept of one big trade. We've asked SC to give us some little alpha on his range trading and how you can build out a range in the deviation area to actually get your trigger out, and how you can mix scalps and swing trades all at the same time. Just moving on real quick, SC. If we was to start nuking now, where would your target be? Your realistic target, if we started nuking right now, where would you say, look, I think price is going here? Yeah, on Bitcoin.
Okay, let's keep it logical. Let's keep it consistent. But if we started a nuke right now, I would say, well, what's the range we've established? So what we've established, I would say January range, because if we come below January, let's look at the monthly chart. We've taken out January's high. I would say, well, where's capping the market now? This is capping the market. And January's mid-range comes in 22.40, if I remember correctly, which is around here. Around about this. Actually, no, let's just do it properly in the lower time frame. So I've already got the January's high marker. So this could be a deviation of January's high. So the January's mid-range, which lines up with SR, okay, I would say logical area would be here. But I always like to go with a more conservative target. First target would be the consolidation of the break of where the move started from. So target 1 would be here. Target 2 would be January's mid-range. Now, has January's mid-range proven itself? We draw a line. We drag it across. And it's a bit of a mean level, isn't it? Resistance, resistance, resistance. Support, support. So these two are my next objectives. If that breaks, where's the next objective? Well, next high, which comes in line with previous range low support, 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 resistance, resistance area. These are all targets in mind. So you know where the market should go next.
Fantastic. SC, look, thank you so much, man. And just finally as well, one thing that I've noticed as well, given this stream, is that as we've been discussing the price of Bitcoin, we've been looking at it from the concept of ranges and level to level, and we've marked out ranges as well from the upside and to the downside where price can go. Now, if the market, and this is for everybody in the chat, so listen very, very carefully to what I'm about to ask SC, all right? Because his answer will really help you navigate throughout the 2023 cycle. Now, if Bitcoin ranges, if we find a range, right? Let's say we take this 15K level and we push it all the way up to the 25K level. That's a $10,000 range, right? Roughly, give
Yeah,
or take.
we could stay in this forever. We could
If we
stay like
did,
this for a long, long time.
now if we
There's
did,
nothing to suggest we can't.
but that's what I'm saying. So if we did,
Hmm?
how much money, if people could follow this range from range high to range low, how much money could we make in that process? Because,
You probably
you
make
know,
more than a bull market because
exactly,
you've got clear
exactly.
defined risk, and actually you're paying 10. How much did I say? Call it 18K, call it 25K. Let's just call it a conservative 6K range, give or take 1K to the other side. So you're playing. Call it 5K you're catching. I mean, don't be perfect. I mean, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Bruv, you don't need a bull run.
Exactly, exactly. And that's what I
Yeah.
wanted people to understand from this stream. Now, look, guys, if you've identified the range that Bitcoin is playing in, and you can see that price is going from range high to range low over and over again with the deviations in between, right? What happens, and I'm asking you guys in the chat, what happens when Bitcoin goes from range high to range low? Well, we're going to get a massive flood of red altcoins and red across the board. But then what happens if Bitcoin goes to that 18K level, deviates it, gets back inside the range, and starts going back up? What does that mean for your altcoins? What
See,
have we seen?
exactly. So your point is exactly correct because if Bitcoin's doing that, imagine what your alts are doing. Your alts are doing 3, 4, 5, 600% moves. So play the alts then. You know what I mean? If you like playing
100%.
alts, play your favorite alts, but just know to get out in time. When it comes back, play the same cycle again. If you only want to play the long side, wait till it gets to range lows until it breaks out. So I mean, let's pick Matic for example. This was a lovely long. I actually people. I mean, Exo told me about Matic down here. I've been long Matic from here, spot position, and I got out around. And I think I got out most here. I didn't expect that. And then the last portion there. So I probably played more Matic and made more money of Matic than Matic um,
Yeah, I was
support
there.
group guys there.
I was
So,
there.
but I'm also making money to the downside. So, for example, say in this case, when did it start? So that's Monday. Around this area here, I was actually long. Do you remember? XO was short. I was long going for longs at
Yeah,
Matic.
bro, you were one
This
of the
move
few
alone,
people. Yeah, you were one of the few people that actually went long across
I
the
mean, I
board
didn't
when
play
we
that
were at
whole, but
15K.
you can see that one run alone comes in line with Bitcoin into resistance. You got 90% move there. Even if you caught 60% of that, it's more than enough. But you just gotta get the fuck out in time.
Now, for everybody in the chat, think about it. Think about what SC is saying. Don't just tune in and listen to what he says and look for plans. Don't look for signals. We're not going to have him forever. One day he's going to make too much and he's not going to be there for us. All right. So we need to start thinking outside the box. Now, if Matic, let's say for instance, you're looking at this Matic chart here, and this
Mm.
Matic chart goes to the range low, not USC, obviously you're already trading it, but if this Matic chart goes to the range low and deviates back in the range, you got to ask yourself, what are you doing? Now, it's not just for Matic. You compare it across the board as well. You try and see what other altcoins are doing. If you're finding the same story across the board, there's your opportunity to make money. Now, we've already discussed, me and Essie have already discussed why we don't think it's a bull market this year. I think personally that it's going to be a range bound market, and we've got enough evidence to suggest so far that as it stands, we're just in a range. All right, price is capped. There's clear definition where it's capped to the upside, clear definition where it's capped to the downside. We're stuck in that range. So make your plan focused on that range. Now, SC, say for instance, right, if you don't mind, if we go back to your Bitcoin chart very quickly,
Mm.
if
One
that's all
second.
right with you. Let's say,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
instance, we start breaking out of this range. What would we be looking at in terms of a breakout? I know obviously we can draw the squigglies, but
We're
just from a
long.
yeah, just for say for instance, we started breaking out to the upside and we
Mm.
actually wanted to start breaking out of this range. How would
Okay.
somebody get on board from a swing perspective?
So what I would do is firstly, where would be my target? And I think that's a logical target to reach for. Maybe this one as well. I mean, let's keep it realistic. I think there's a CME gap there as well. I mean, gaps I'm more interested in is as a target objective if it's already gonna head there. So these are the logical targets. I think everybody's in agreement with that. So what I would look for is okay, if it breaks above here and starts stabilizing, holding above the extreme point end, then I'm gonna be looking for longs there. Unless it does it in one candle up, that's fine. I missed the trade. Next trade, life's not over. I'm in like 10 other traditional market trades as well, but I'll wait. There, this is the sort of price that I'd like to see. I mean, if it's anything above it should be short-term swing failure. But remember what I said at the beginning. That then comes into our next macro resistance area where if this gets cleared, then we've got the big breakout, reclaim, the bigger deviation. Remember from the beginning? So there, these two will be my next objectives. This something like this, I'll have to see what happens. I mean, this is just a basic blueprint, but this sort of price action would suggest to me market has established itself above. It's ready to continue breaking higher. I'm going to start looking for longs. I'll cut the short if I can, or take the stop out. I'll flip long, target one, target two, and then I've got to be careful. Why? Because then we come back towards this point. If you recall, where I said that the moment we reclaim back above here, oopsie daisy, 1 second. If we reclaim back above this region here, okay, because this it could still push into there, that then is a deviation. I'm gonna start looking for longs then. I mean, towards here and then here as objectives. But so that would be my objective, but that does not mean I'm going towards massive all-time high targets. A breakout above here would suggest that's the ultimate end. And then I'm gonna see, does it do this breakdown or does it get back above? Get back above, longs. Get back below, shorts back into the range. And that is it.
Fantastic, fantastic. So look, everybody in the chat. This is from me personally. This is a good exercise for you guys. Mark out your ranges and look at the extreme ends of the range. This is an exercise TraderXO gave me in the past as well. You mark out your range. Anybody can mark out a range. Trading it is a very, very, very different thing, you know. But mark out your ranges. Mark out the extreme points of those ranges. It should just be below your range low or just above your range high. Once you mark out those extreme points, start looking, investigate what price does in those areas to start getting your breakout scenarios and your breakout plans. But in retrospect, talking what we've discussed today, we don't need to worry too much about those breakout points. As it stands, we have plans at the moment to give us indication that the market is just range bound and we have hit that market range high. All right. So thank you so much. One final thing, I see, because I know you've got a class soon, so I don't want to take up too much more of your time. You've already given us so much alpha in this chat today already. So make sure you guys are smashing the like. Let's get those likes up. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel. I see a lot of new subscribers have come in today. I do really appreciate that. One
Everybody
final
like the
thing.
video, like the video. And not only that, follow NJ on Twitter. He's nearly at 60K. Just give him
Appreciated,
60K on
really,
Twitter.
really appreciated. Thank you so much. I see. One final thing I want to talk about, and this is not chart related, but and you don't have to give me too many intricacies on it. It's something that even I'm not too well versed on. But we're hearing a lot of stuff at the moment about China injecting a flood load of cash into their economy. Now, a lot of people think that because China have done that, that it's going to impact the current markets. Now, my perspective on that is the dollar sits at the top of the food chain, and because the dollar sits at the top of the food chain,
We keep it
um,
simple. We keep it simple. Has it changed anything right now in the market? No. The moment it does, then you know that okay. You still pay your ranges.
well,
Until it's
agreed.
broken out, the markets you change, and until things that in the market you trade change, ignore it. If you want to look at it from a basic perspective, otherwise, it's just noise.
Do you think it can though? I mean, look, we had
Can do,
something
I
like
don't
this.
know. Yeah, it
We
could
had
be
some.
something could happen out of the blue. That's why I'm not ready for it.
Well, the thing
But
is, bro, the thing is, sorry to interrupt, but
yeah,
we had this with the US. You know, when that COVID thing happened, Fed injected that same level of cash into the US economy, and that's what led. Well, that's what assisted us in pushing higher in
also
terms of
emergency
stocks.
black
And
swan events.
yeah, I don't know if China
Same for
has
long
that
term.
same
It's not
power
long term. It's
currently.
not long term. It's emergency short term. You keep it to short term, and then that's done now, and that's it. So you go
Okay.
back to the mean and what's overall happening in the market. Guys here, how many of you struggling to pay your rent? Can you pay your bills? Until on a mass basis you're okay, you're still fucked. So it makes no difference how much you put in the market, you're still fucked.
Yeah, agreed, agreed. Everything is tough right now, and I know a lot of people are struggling. I mean, everybody's feeling it. Everybody's
Exactly. So
feeling it.
until that is changes, the bigger picture. That's the bigger picture. Short-term injections are just for the big players to talk about. They ain't gonna change shit. And has it changed anything? I mean, as the ES magically run up, as any of the other markets, no, nothing's changed. So until something changes, or if it was such a big impact, you would have seen big, massive dildo candles. You ain't seen shit yet. So until the ranges break out, then even then it doesn't matter. You're playing your chart still, aren't you? So that for me, I mean, I've been doing this for 11 years and I do know macro stuff. I just don't talk about it because what's the point? Many people don't understand it here. I can talk about interest rates all day. I can talk about bonds all day. Makes no difference. Um, because you're still
I've, al-
playing the
I've, always,
chart.
I've
When I'm
always
taking
found
that
that
down,
confusing when
when I'm
people
taking,
say that you don't understand macro. I mean, I've
no,
known you
I
for a
used to,
while.
bro, people don't know my background where I've traded, but just keep that on the low. Nobody needs to know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
100,
know,
100.
externals, but it makes no difference. What difference does it make? When I'm placing a short here, I am not looking at is the PBOC pumping. Most of you don't even know what PBOC means. But yeah, are they pumping anything in? No. So I'm taking a 5 minute scale. What the fuck's that got to do with anything? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. I agree. And SC, look, honestly, bro, I really wanna thank you for my camera's blurring again. Why is that? Why am I blurring out? Look, bro, honestly, I really want to thank you for coming on today and for sharing your thoughts. I
Oh
don't
shit,
want to
Bitcoin,
take too much more.
fam. You
Yeah,
ready? We're
Bitcoin's
gonna
pushing
nuke.
down.
Gang, gang,
Well,
gang.
well, this is
Automatic
what
nuke.
I was going to say. Do you think if I could put out an altcoin maybe on one of the charts or something like that, could we maybe put a setup out for these guys if that's all right? I think a lot
Okay.
of people were talking about Inch.
Yeah. Okay, let's stick with consistency since we've marked this out. Like I said, a nice short idea for this is Bitcoin continues to go down. I would say Matic, let it go down, let it reclaim. That becomes the deviation. There's your trigger. Cut any clean break, whatever the swing high is. Target one, day trade, T1, T2. The trigger is not there until it breaks down. Either that or you got this support. You got there. That's play one, trend continuation to the downside. Play two is retest SR, deviate back below to tell you the market wants to go lower. There's your breaking market structure. Short, target one, obviously short is day trade. That's the only range we got to work with. If it bounces, cut it. If it continues, take some off, breaks, stops at break even, then wait for this to add back in. Or if you got out, get back in like that. That is all. Simple, straightforward. If it smashes above here, we will then that's a big reclaim of the macro mid range, the macro SR level. We'll see what Bitcoin's doing. We may have to flip long. That's it.
Agreed, agreed. Do you think just for the chat, if that's all right with you, do you think we
Hmm?
could do I and J just once to wrap up
Oh
the
yeah, I
stream?
was smacking that yesterday, wasn't I? You
Yes,
son
you
of a
was
bitch. Let me find that
indeed,
chart. Oh the god,
indeed.
now you got me started. Now
Yeah,
you
yeah,
got me
yeah.
started. Fuck it. Let's fund all these coins. I only did INJ because there's somebody I tweeted about I didn't like. And the moment I tweeted it, it went down. So the next time you get if you like a coin, if you piss me off on Twitter, I would market sell it just
Oh,
to
bro,
show
do you remember
dominance.
Chronos? Do you remember
Just to show
Chronos?
dominance.
You destroyed Chronos. I don't know if you remember that.
No, no. Yeah, crypto.com. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
didn't even fuck around with me again, did they?
No, no,
But
no.
even
They
if it's
went
short
quiet.
lived, it was enough to create panic in the market. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for the FUD. Listen, when you're bored, yeah, and when you fucking made shit ton that day, and then you're chilling, and you got nothing better to do, you become petty little cunt. And I am a petty little cunt. So don't. I am like that. I'll be honest with you. I am petty. So
Well,
I mean, when you're sitting behind a screen all day, you become petty. Whoever says family time is your family sitting at home with your family all day. Fuck off, man. Ain't got time for that.
bro,
But here
honestly,
is where the real. I'm gonna prove a point. 1 second.
take it
Yeah,
away.
I
Take it
triggered
away.
somebody here, Naz.
Take it away.
Yeah,
Take it
that's
away.
purpose. That's purpose, fam. You know this go. No, I'm gonna find this coin. This is where I tweeted this chart. So we got this here. Copy link to tweet. Paste it there. So some hero tried to be funny with me. I go, okay, let's post a bearish chart. I even Marcus sold a bit, and Mark was gonna turn anyway. Yeah, look back. He replied to me since. I don't know where he's gone, but yeah, I mean, this is what being petty cunt does. So yeah, either that or block. Oh no, a 13% drop. Yes. So
That's
yeah,
big.
this
That's
was the
big.
tweet.
That's a good move.
Of course, it's at resistance anyway. You know what I mean? It's not as if I'm gonna move it. Yeah, this guy here. Then he tried to change governments. He changed governments then. Yeah, I took the piece
Let's
out of
change
somebody else.
government.
He comes to me. He goes, "Yo, this guy. I don't know why you don't block them." I go, "You are not one to talk. Look at you. This guy tried to tag this guy. He goes, prove him wrong. Yeah." Well, shut up, man. Let me market sell this, man. I mean,
You
it's
know what?
liquid.
Real talk, real talk.
Easy,
Everybody
easy
sees
to move
markets
around.
in a different way, and
It's
I'll
easy
be
to move
honest with
around.
you, bro. I'll be really honest with you. That's what bothers me about Twitter as well. We're at a stage in the market right now where this is another reason why I don't think we're in a bull market. Just because when we're in a bull market, you know people are winning because people are much nicer on social media, and when we're in markets like this where everybody thinks the bull market is back, nobody's actually making money. People are just posting on Twitter for clout and trying to get more engagement and trying to get more um clout. Yeah, clout, pretty much. So I understand your frustration, bro. You're not as
No,
petty
no,
as
it's not frustrating. I look forward
99%
to
of the
this shit.
people that are here.
It's not frustration. Frustration would be me. I was log off. I'm making money from it as well. So I mean, it's that resistance to set up order taken anyway. But you know that it's priceless when you piss somebody off like that. That was huddling the top. Then you step the fuck in.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I know XO loves to short as well. His system is really, really good for picking up short signals and
He
shorting the
takes loads
market.
of longs as well, but he stays quiet about it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. He takes shorter longs. He doesn't really swing long too much. He takes shorter longs, but when it comes to shorting, bro, he loves it just as much as you do, bro. He loves it just as much as you. The thing is, right, it's down to
Dickhead.
perspective. It's down to perspective. If a lot of people here, when you see SE and XO shorting, you think, oh, they're so bearish, but actually they're not bearish. They're giving you what they're doing is they're giving you a buying opportunity. Like if they're shorting it down to a very, very low level, which you think it can't come to, why would you trade against them? Why not just wait until it comes to that level, buy that level, not blindly, but wait for a reclaim, buy that level. And then the R&R that you've got there is much different to the R&R you had when they were shorting it against what you thought was correct. It's just something to think about, you know? We've got one question here, SC, and I think it's a decent question. I think it's a really decent question, if you wouldn't
Trigger
mind
one.
answering it. NJ, can you ask SC how exactly to pull the trigger lower time frame? Wait. Can you ask SC how
Yeah.
exactly to pull the trigger on a lower time frame trade? How do I enter a higher time frame deviation on a 15-minute chart? I think many of us lack the skill to execute a trade as the deviation is happening. And that's a very good question. Now, I know that this takes years of work to do, but
Yeah,
maybe if
here's
you
a
could
good
give
question.
a little segment
Yes,
on that, if that's all right.
that's a good question. Now, this question like that require practice. So, firstly, get away from the live account, get your test net out, or start using this price range tool or a trade thing here. You have to know how to identify the trade first and foremost. Remove that bullshit about I need skin in the game. That's nonsense. Until you know what you're doing, there is no skin in the game. It's like going to surgery, performing surgery on somebody with no theory, right? You have to practice surgery first. You practice on instruments or dead bodies. When you do medicine, that's what you do, and stuff like that. So, for example, say let's take Matic. There's two ways. One, do we know where you're wrong? Now, I explained this trade yesterday. This is not what I ultimately entered. I did enter initially when I tweeted it, but I entered there and I entered there and I added there. I even said it on stream. So there's two types. One, entry based on invalidation where you're wrong. So for example's sake, let's look at a long setup here. So I know that okay, I'm before this all happened, let's start with the easy peasy setup. One is I've got this consolidation, and this is be okay with wider stops to start off with. Your aim is just to get used to it. Okay, be consistent. I can have one easy, simple strategy that I can make money off of. It broke out the range there. Where am I wrong? A hard invalidation there. But if it was to come back below, start breaking down, I'd cut it. But you got hard defined rules. Target there. That's just to start off with. Forget the risk to reward. You're practicing execution. You train that muscle memory. You're practicing this. Is that with me? This is on the most basic level. Naturally, in time, you will yourself refine it. But okay, let's go for another one, more tighter one. So that, at the same time, could be a day trade. So, for example's sake, I'll use triggers I use myself. So I'll go to the lower time frame, and I'll say, okay, where are you wrong? Is the easiest way to do it. So this is a basic pattern. But I know it's the context set. This pattern is unfolding at a higher time frame level. You with me? So now look for any pattern excuse. This, when I posted yesterday, that was my trigger breakdown. It had one really back up. The rest of the market was dropping. Close of this candle. I'll cut here the clean break invalidation above here. I just dropped all this way. It took out these stops. That's enough. That is another entry trigger. So the pattern is just an excuse for an entry. The context is already set higher time frame levels. This trigger here. So technically, we're looking at this one. This is those two examples was a long at extreme support. a short at of coming off extreme resistance. This one here, the mid-range one, where the fuck are you? Shit. Here is another one. So this would be an example of trend continuation. So I've given you the two easy ones. You've got to practice them, and you just got to take the execute. Just execute, even if you think it's wrong, because you execute it on paper trading. That's when you record results. Have minimum 30. If you're not going to do that, or you say you got no time, you are not going to make it in trading. Log off the stream right now, or Naz will block you. So you're going to do this. Now you wait and wait and wait. When it happens, or if it happens, by default you have an invalidation. By default, if you have an invalidation, you can, and you got good risk to reward. Well, is your risk to reward good? Well, you know what you're going to trigger. You know what you need to see. This breaking this level down means it's ready to expand to the next level, right? So then you have your trigger. You know where you're wrong. So as soon as you know where you're wrong, you can enter. Target 1, target 2. That is enough. That's it. The second one is I go over yesterday's one. This was just an example I gave, and it is a valid trade. It looks it's a swing idea. Whether it's right or not, I don't know. But all I know is, I mean, this is for traders that missed the move. That's fine, but that's valid. That's my hard invalidation. And I also say if it goes above and starts reclaiming these levels, I'm gonna look to cut extra. But the risk to reward is still decent enough. Now, if it breaks below the this here, okay, and then becomes a deviation, it confirms. Then I'm going to look to enter another one. That stop loss comes towards there. But really, I mean, a reclaim back above here would be my exit. But that's reduced. Whatever I've reduced the risk by, say I'm risking $100. I'd say it's now reduced to, I don't know, I'm risking $60. I add the other position there. I've reduced my stop. I put on that $40 risk again. So my total risk maintains at 1R, or if your 1R is $100. And I'm doing that throughout the swing trade until proven wrong or something changes, and I can do that again and again. And that's why example of starting with a wider stop. There's not much emotion involved, but I'm not going to hold that one position. I'm going to add when there's new violation until the trade idea proves me wrong. Now, to give me confidence that it's not just a random trade idea, firstly, I've broken it down anyway. Secondly, the main trade for me would actually be once it comes back within the range. That's when I'm really going to put my foot on the gas for risk. That's your range, isn't it? Okay? If I do this, technically there. So if or when this happens, that's a nice trendline breakdown. Like that. Okay? I'll be adding this will be normally, if there's a 5-minute chart where I'm adding, my invalidation becomes a swing high. So what that stop loss brings all the way back down. Swing idea still intact of target here. I've got a fresh trade on. Before you know it, you built a sizable position by doing small risk. That's another technique. So I've given you many. You choose one, practice one, master one. By default, the others will come to you. You have to give into the process. You're not going to get it in one go. And if you're still in a rush, just log off, withdraw your money. You're not cut out.
You guys don't realize, you guys in the chat right now, you don't realize, I didn't expect SC to do that, but he's given you so much alpha in that last 5-minute segment. If you re-watch that last 5 minutes, it will change your trade. You got to practice it for weeks and weeks and weeks. You got to put the time in, right? But find your most liquid pairs, find the most liquid pairs that you can find, and maybe start on the lower time frame. Maybe that might help you because things move a lot quicker on the lower time frame.
One more thing to add, Naz.
Yeah,
is
sure, man.
Someone's asking what time frame. Well, what you do, you go back testing. Your back testing is one part. Say you're taking a driving test, right? You have your practical, you have your theory, then you have your practical, right? So the theory part is back testing. You go back and say, okay, if I'm day trading, shall I do on the H1 trigger, 15-minute, 5-minute? You go back, you find which one works the most on your pair, right? Then there's not going to be one right or wrong. Some are 15, some are 5. Okay. Then what you do, you forward test it. So you say, you know what, I'm going to do the 15-minute candle only. You just wait for that only to get 30 examples. Then by default, by practicing and looking at the charts like that in real time, as well as backtesting time, you'll start noticing, no, I can actually use the 5-minute here. I can use the 15-minute there, 30-minute there. That comes with looking at it. Then that question you're asking will be answered without me telling you. But the fact that until you do it, that shows me you haven't done it before. Understand? Not having a
Yeah,
go, just telling you how it is.
100%,
And that's
100%.
it. So you will then know the time frames later on. Start with one. Say, you know what, that this one type of setup. Okay, in this case, a 15-minute was enough. Okay, I'm gonna find all the 15-minute setups, just that one setup. By default, the other setups will come to you because you've been watching it so much, you start noticing things. Journal every trade. Do all paper trading first. 30 examples of forward testing. Okay, forward testing is live market in paper trading environment. Now you've got a sample set to look back on and say, you know what, I can trade, or at least I know what I'm doing. I've got a basic system. The system evolves in time with practice. Then you can put real money in. Till then, you have to earn the right. If you're asking those questions, you have no right to put real money in the market, and that's it. So carry on, this.
Amazing. No, 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 no. Like I said, I'm a bit shocked. I'm a bit shocked. That was absolutely phenomenal. Look, for everybody who's tuned into the chat, that's major, major alpha. I can't stress that enough. If you take that last 10-minute segment and you just apply, ignore everything else, ignore FA, ignore the news, ignore everything else. Just find liquid pairs, pairs that have a lot of liquidity, pairs that have a lot of volume. Pick your time frame that you want to look at and just practice that. That's a fantastic, fantastic exercise SC just
A
gave you.
shout out to that guy that gave you
Yeah,
a super chat.
I'm just about to say that now. So Phil the Flying Frenchman has dropped in a super chat. Amazing, amazing. You've not put any comments in, but thank you very much, Phil. A big shout out to Phil. He's one of the mods.
Phil can
SC,
ask a
this
question.
guy,
Yeah, if Phil has a question, he can ask a question.
oh, fantastic! That's amazing. Phil, just to give you a little background on Phil. Phil has been here since the first episode of the NJ show. He's been supporting every single stream. I don't know him in real life, but
Is Phil in the
he's
group? Phil gets free access to my group. Give Phil free access. He can message you, get the details. We set him up. Like his loyalty to you.
Phil. There you go. Look. There you go. There you go. Look, fantastic, fantastic. Look, everybody. Thank you for tuning into the show very much. But just another one as well. We've just cracked 5,300 subs. So a big shout out to everybody doing that. Let's see if we can get to 5,400. Everybody's put commitment in. Everybody's dropped really positive comments. We've had a few riffraffs in the chat, but other than that, everybody has been fantastic. Great, great, great class. And Essie, I just want to thank you as well, bro. We're coming up to the hour now. Is there anything else that you would like to say, my bro?
Somebody keeps asking about the Shanghai index. No, I'm looking at what I'm looking at. So what if it is or not? Not every equity market is the same. This is
Well,
following still the normal traditional markets and ES, NQ, and that's all I'm looking at. I'm not looking at anything else. I don't need to look at anything else. They're not as important to me right now. That's it.
amazing, amazing. Phil, if you're still in the chat, my friend, now would be a great time to ask SC the question because there is another class that's going to be happening in a little while, and we don't want to take up too much of SC's time. So if you've got a chat, if you've got a question, Phil,
Yes,
now is the
Phil,
right time.
DM Naz your Twitter handle and email. We sort you out.
Oh, that's amazing. SC, bro. Really and truly, bro. I really appreciate that. And remember, everybody in the chat as well, don't forget what the exercise is. So your objective now over the next couple of weeks, it shouldn't all happen in one day, but your objective over the next couple of weeks is to make a journal. Now, that journal doesn't need to look fancy. It doesn't need to have a lot of words and whatnot on it. But what you want to do is you want to watch the last 10, 15 minutes of what SC said, and you want to make 30 examples of trades that you've taken, which you can look back and say, all right, I followed the range concept. I've done it on this time frame. This is what worked. This is where I got stopped out. This is where it worked out for me and I hit my targets. What do I need to do better? And I promise you, if you do that 30 examples, you will end up going on a run. It's just like football. Once you start scoring those goals, suddenly your striker's in form. Once you start winning those games, there's confidence in the team, and you start playing the game by the rules, and you start appreciating the rules too. So look, massive, massive shout out. We've got another super chat here from Fahim Islam, and he goes, this is all I've got, bro. Look, thank you very much. Look, thank you for all your support. It really, really does go a long way to see everybody supporting the channel and appreciating SC's content. So SC, bro, look, I think everybody else is just talking normal now. Is there anything else that you want to add, bro, or are you happy to wrap the stream up here?
Nah, I'm good, man. Nothing else really. I just got one or two questions you want to add. I got like 10 more minutes. And
Okay,
then,
fantastic, fantastic. We've got 10 more minutes with SC. Well, I'll be joining your class anyway today because I'm looking forward to that.
yeah, we'll do New York Open. We'll do the live for that.
Yeah,
10 more minutes
fantastic.
and then I'm doing one.
So I know you don't like it when I do this, SC. I know you hate it when I do this, but we've got to do it anyway. All right. It's for the people. It's for the a lot of people here are really, really passionate. SC, you have your own website.
Mm.
Yeah. TraderSC.com. You're hearing it here on the show. Now, if for those of you who want to know how I became Trader NJ and how I did so well in the last market, I'll tell you, it's not really complicated. So XO is
Oh,
my brother, the same way XSC is my brother too. We've got a family dynamic between us. Alhamdulillah for all of that. Now, it was actually XO who called me one evening and he just started shouting at me. He just called me and said, "You're shit. You're not doing anything. You're not focused. You're not." And I said, "Oh, what do I need to do?" He's like, "Bro, I don't see you in any of the classes that you need to be in. So what I want you to do is I want you to go to www.tradersc.com. I want you to sign up and I want you to look at every educational concept tab in concept video in that tab." So I did that. I logged into SC site. I signed up. Obviously, SC helped me out a little bit. I didn't really have much money back then. SC gave me that access because I pitched to him and he liked my pitch. Just like Phil today. Phil's got that as well. Maybe you could be one of the lucky ones in the future if you put the work in. From there, I studied each concept, and there are other traders I know as well who have done that. They've gone in, they've studied those concepts, and now, unfortunately, some of them are selling it on, some of them are using it to help their family, some of them using it to help themselves. But that's what you guys can do too. If you go to TraderSC.com, there is a sign up fee, and I'm not shilling the sign up fee. But if you want to take this to a whole other level, it
but the
requires
warning sign is, bro, I ain't got time for lazy people. If you're lazy, I will kick you out straight away. If you're
agreed,
brand new, it's not for you. It's for people that got the basic grasp because I got no handhold. It's for self learners mainly. I share the minimum, and then if you made that cut out to do it, you'll know. If you're not, don't bother. Buy a
100%.
course of somebody else from starting. Use baby pips. But I don't handhold. I don't answer questions all day. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I ain't got time for that. I'm trading
No,
my
I
own money,
agree.
but my stuff is for mainly people that really want it and don't ask stupid stuff that is already out there.
Yeah, agreed. But it is a life-changing it's a life-changing step that you'd be willing to take. So look, it's like the gym. If you're going to sign up to the gym, there's no point signing up to the gym if you're not going to be turning up at least 4 times a week. All right. Now
Yeah, you have
SC
to
does
commit.
classes. He does classes. He has his own Twitter thing as well. What you want to do is you want to go to www.tradersc.com. Check that content out, and I promise you, if you're passionate, if you really want to work on this, and you really do want to change the way that you want to evolve in the space, that's the place to go to. So, other than that, there's not really much from me. I think we've covered way more alpha than I could have anticipated. We've got a lot of people in the chat. What's the subscriber count saying? Has that helped much? We are at 340 now, so we're 60 away from
Listen, if you
5,400.
guys shield Naz's Twitter, get him to 60K. I'll come on soon again. We'll do a pure teaching class, maybe live trading, live execution, but only if you
Amazing.
get 60K by the end of the week.
All right, amazing. So you guys know what to do now. I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need your retweets. I'm going to need your support in the comments and whatnot. And thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you everybody for showing my brother SC some love. He's come here today for free to help all of us out. And make sure you rewatch the video. There's so much to talk about in that video that we just did. That 15-minute segment that he covered on the Rangers, that will really change everything for you. So if you're committed, watch that over and over again. I promise you, it will change everything. SC, my bro, thank you so much. I'll catch up with you on Telegram or WhatsApp
Take
or
care.
something like
Thank you
that.
everybody for tuning in. I'll catch you
Thank
guys
you
soon.
so much. Smash up the like and remember to subscribe to the content. All right. Thank you, everybody, once again. Leave your if you're watching this recorded, please leave a comment in the comment section as well. Let me know if you found the content useful. Let me know if you found it educational. Let me know if you want to see more things like this going forward, and I'll see if I can accommodate. I'll see if I can bring XO on as well in the next couple of weeks. See if we can do an episode quite like this, an educational one where it can actually help you guys straight away off the bat, and we'll see how it goes. But anyway, look, cheers everyone. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the content bottom right hand corner if you don't mind. Takes a second. It's only for free. Thank you to those who dropped a super chat in. Thank you to those who left positive comments. Thank you to those who took notes throughout the stream, and a big thank you to everybody who's actually going to listen to what SC said and follow through on the exercise, because you guys and girls and everything else in between, you guys are going to be the next class, the next bull market class, the class of 2024, when I think the bull market's going to come back. But tune into the next episode of the Trader NJ show to identify when I think the next bull market's going to be and why. All right. Cheers, everyone. Have a lovely